What's going on, y'all? This is Bob from Aesthetic Imprints and also YouTube channel at Baav Productions. And you're rocking with the Squad Creatives Podcast on TSH Network.
Bang it, bang it, bang it, bang it, bang it, bang it, bang it.
What's going on, everybody? I'm your host, Seak, man. 12 Gone to Pearl. You can find me on all the social media. Here with my co-host. Introduce yourself, brother.
Mike T's, and also on all social media platforms. So let's hop into it.
So again, man, we back with Brother Bob. What's going on, man? Can we get a brief history before we really get into this, man, for those that don't know?
Brief history. All right. So my name is Baav, and I run a YouTube channel, Baav Productions. And I run a custom apparel printing company called Aesthetic Imprints, where I specialize in mainly screen printing. Is how it started. Jumped into the screen print game, and then ever since then, I've just been steady growing that clientele base from 5 years ago, and I've just been growing that. And then recently, late last year, I added on the embroidery machine to add an embroidery service on, and then we've been doing heat press and stuff as well. But mainly, we operate with the heat press, screen print, and embroidery. And then a year or 2 years ago, I started a YouTube channel to show the behind the scenes, show everybody how it's all done. My main goal for that was to just give everybody game on what all goes into screen printing, because ever since I've been doing screen printing, it's so hard for people to understand what goes into screen printing. Because when you get a client that wants like one shirt screen printed, you're like, man, nah, that's not possible. I mean, there's just too much that goes into it. So the whole reason I started the YouTube channel was to just show people how it's done behind the scenes. And then it just started to roll into what it is now, where people try to get tutorials and stuff. So now I just take everybody step by step behind the scenes of screen printing, embroidery, just manufacturing. And yeah, I've been enjoying that. A lot of people have been enjoying that, and I just been going from there.
Yeah, man. So I want to address something that's very important before we move on. How old are you?
22.
How long you been in business?
I started when I was, I'd say 17 officially. So it's been about 5 years.
So say that one more time. You started how old?
17.
And can you get a little story, give the story on where you're at, where your business is located, and that?
Yeah, for sure. So I started at 17, and like I said, I hopped into screen printing at first. This was in high school. The main reason I got into it was because I wanted to start a clothing brand. That was something I'm always been passionate about. I still am passionate about that. I mean, especially when it comes to printing and all. And then ever since then, the reason I got into doing my own printing was because I said I wanted to manufacture it myself. I wanted to know how the whole process works. Then I was just doing a ton of research, looking at heat press, embroidery, screen print. I stumbled upon screen print. At that time, there wasn't a lot of content on screen printing. There was still like 2 to 3 YouTube channels out there on screen printing. So I just tuned into them and just got my experience up and bought a cheap little press off eBay. That thing was a piece of garbage, but we learned off that.
Right.
And then ever since I learned on that, when you get that new official screen print press, you're more appreciative to what it has to offer when you start on something that's not as high tech, I'd say.
Yeah.
So ever since then, I've just been learning into screen print. Screen print is pretty hard to start with. There's a lot of things that go into it, but it's worth it. So I just been grinding ever since then, just building my client base up, getting myself out there, getting myself on social media, creating content, and just going from there. But before that, I mean, I'd say people would ask where I got the money to invest. So, I mean, I started this business at 17, but before then, I was still hustling. My main hustle back then was shoveling snow, man. I mean, nowadays, people don't even do that much. I'm looking around my neighborhood when it snows. I don't even see people doing that. But back then, when it snowed, I was out there like in the morning getting the money up, like I had it. That was something I knew I could do. Like at that time, a job isn't going to hire you. You're too young for that. So I jumped in there, started shoveling snow, and all that money I was getting from that, I was not going to go out there and buy $200, $300, $400 J's. I saved that money, save that money because I knew I wanted to invest in something. I knew I wanted to start a business. I knew I wanted something clothing related. Whatever it was, I knew I was passionate about business. So ever since then, I saved that money and then I stumbled upon screen print, starting a brand, and I just slowly started investing into myself, just betting on myself.
So,
Yeah.
Bob, you actually, I gotta give credit to your parents. They've raised you right. I can say
Yeah.
that age and I am, and seeing you actually, I've been wanting my kids to watch you. I already told you this. My sons need to take a note from out your book. Some of the things that you have produced and came up with, even your name. How did you come up with Aesthetic Imprints as a name?
It's you know what the funny thing is? My YouTube channel, as you guys know, is called Baav Productions. If you don't know, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
So originally, my business name wasn't Aesthetic Imprints. It was actually Baav Productions. So that's what's funny. So I started off with Baav Productions as a business name, but then realizing, I mean, maybe I could have stuck with it at this point. I realized I could have stuck with it, but at that time, it was really my gut was telling me this isn't the most professional name. If I want to get out there, if I want a customer to look at this name and know exactly what I'm doing, so when they read Baav Productions, it doesn't really speak custom apparel or t-shirt printing to me. So that's when I was like, okay, I gotta make a switch. And I always love the aesthetics. Everything I produce, the aesthetics has to be there. So in clothing, aesthetic means art, beautiful art. So aesthetic imprints. The reason I chose imprints, not prints, is because imprints is basically it's like a cloud for prints. It's not just printing, but it's imprints. Like I'd say embroidery is still an imprint because you're still imprinting on something, but it's just stitched. Heat press is an imprint. Screen print is a print, but it's still an imprint. So my whole goal with that was to aesthetic imprints is like produce beautiful printing, and that's how I got that name.
That's awesome.
So what made you go back to Baav Productions now, though?
I'm still Aesthetic Imprints, but my content name now is Baav Productions. So that's why I did it, man. I'm like, there's one thing about me that I don't like about myself. I go back and forth with names. Like there's like it's one thing I don't like about myself, but I still like it. So when I started a YouTube channel, it was under Aesthetic Imprints too. But I switched that. So like when I started the business, it was Baav Productions. I switched that to Aesthetic Imprints. When I started the YouTube channel, it was Aesthetic Imprints, and I switched that to Baav Productions. And the reason I switched my YouTube channel back from Aesthetic Imprints to Baav Productions is because that's more like content side. That's more business, but at the same time, if I limit it to just Aesthetic Imprints on there, I can only produce content around Aesthetic Imprints because everything else wouldn't make sense. Whereas long term, I'm just thinking long term, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, Baav Productions makes more sense because I know this isn't the only business I'm going to have. So when it comes to Baav Productions, that's my LLC name. So whatever hustle, whatever grind I'm on, I want to share that through Baav Productions, just the same way I'm sharing now. So everything's shared through my contact page under Baav Productions, but I'm just basically showing that I own Aesthetic Imprints, and then the businesses would still be separate. It's just I'm producing more content. So Aesthetic Imprints is still the official company name, but Baav Productions is basically the YouTube channel name. If that makes sense. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Thanks for breaking that down. I just want to know a little background because that name and then the Baav Productions as well. So Aesthetic Imprint or Baav Productions is at the top. We'll say it's an umbrella corp. So up underneath that is Aesthetic Imprints.
Exactly. That's my goal. So up underneath that would be Aesthetic Imprints. And let's say I start like a real estate business. Up underneath that could be that. Whereas I could still produce the content on my business on YouTube still because it's still under. Whereas if it was Aesthetic Imprints on YouTube and then I start producing content around a different business I started, it wouldn't make sense. People would be like, what the heck is this?
Yeah.
So I was just saving myself long term.
Understandable. So let's talk about this shop behind you, man. It's looking real nice back there.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Took a while.
Yeah.
Still long ways to go.
So I want the people to know that's your parents' basement. That ain't just, you ain't in no store, right?
Shout out to my parents, man. They blessed me with this basement.
Yeah, that's dope. What all you got down there?
So I got that screen print press. It's a 6-color 4-station. Basically, I could produce up to 6 screens. So those screens are basically the colors. So 6 colors, and then 4 stations is those little helicopter things at the bottom. That's where the shirt goes.
Yep.
And then embroidery right there. It's a 2-head MT1502 from Racoma. So this is like the embroidery department with like threads and everything. That's the main floor. The middle is the screen print. Right here is a heat press, basically. Right beside that, you'll see the conveyor jar and all the equipment for the heat press. And yeah, and then the other side is like fulfillment. And then behind this wall, I don't know. Last time I was on this show, I don't know if this wall was here or not. But this wall wasn't here. I built this wall.
You built the wall.
Yeah, that wasn't. It's documented on YouTube. This wall wasn't. When I renovated the whole basement, I did like a whole new layout. This brick wall wasn't here, so I put up like the studs and everything, and put like a drywall and everything right there to separate that. So right behind that is a showroom where I hang up all the blanks. So when customers come through, they could come there, see everything there. That's like the meeting area. That's where like introduction happens. That's like I try to keep a sample of like the most fire. Back when I started, I would keep a sample of everything I did. Like, let's say somebody ordered 20 shirts, I'm gonna order 21 and keep one for myself just so I can hang it up and have like a real life portfolio. So when customers come through, they can see that. So that's basically where that section is. Like, what type of t-shirt do you want? Do you want to feel this shirt? Do you want to feel that shirt? Do you want to try it on? Try it on. What kind of shirt do you want? So that's basically what that side is.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I didn't know that.
He's very forward thinking. I'm telling you that, man. You're thinking about the long haul of things as far as longevity, man.
I'm trying, man. This basement's been through a lot. I mean, it's I started off with that little corner room down there. It's like it's super tiny. So let's say this basement's like 4 by like big right now. I only started with a quarter. You see that black door right there? That way. I actually started in there. That was a tiny room in there. And then I expanded and had like this half. And then, business started growing. I wanted bigger equipment. I wanted new things. So I took another half. And then, I took the whole thing. Shout out to my parents, they blessed up. They don't really use the basement, and they see what I'm doing, support what I'm doing. They blessed up.
Yeah, man. So last time we talked, you had just got the embroidery machine. You didn't even know where you were putting it yet. So how's that worked out and what you've been doing with it since?
I don't even think the embroidery machine was down here because it was so heavy. It was so heavy. It was upstairs. I didn't know how to get it down here, but there's actually a funny video on my channel of me bringing this down here. It's like if you watch it, you're gonna be shitting your pants. I'm sorry. Can I cuss on here?
Yeah, you good. Go ahead.
Okay. You're gonna be shitting your pants when you watch that because the way I got this thing down here, it's shout out to the boys that came through and helped me, but I basically slid that thing down the stairs. Like no kidding, slid it down the stairs. There was no other way. I mean,
you had to get it down there. Shoot.
I had to get it down here. At first, the first like month or two, it was upstairs in the office room. But me running from here to upstairs back and forth was just like, I want it down here. Like, I want it down here. So figured it out, brought it down here. I failed like 3 to 4 times. We tried to bring it down here. It didn't work out. Like, it was just too heavy. We were just like, nah, let's put it back up. I'd get a night's sleep, think it over. Okay. And then we just figured out, brainstormed a few ways and just slid it down here. So now it's down here and I'm happy it's down. It's right next to me now.
Yeah.
Hey.
How has business been since you got it up and running?
Business has been good. So the good thing about what I did and I didn't get embroidered. So here's the thing. I started with screen print, right? So I already had a client base. I already built a client base for screen printing. So embroidery was something I always wanted to add on. But at the time the cost didn't add up. I couldn't afford that. I could. It just wouldn't work out. It would have been a big risk. But now that I already have a client base built up and I got income coming in with these clients, it started to be like customers would always ask me, "Do you offer embroidery?" And for 4 years, I had to say no. Like, not at the moment, no, we don't, but soon we will. So I just had to keep denying that until it came to a point. I just thought about it. I was like, you know what? I got this client base now. I've been grinding away. Let me take a risk. Let me add this on here and sell it to my client base. And the good thing about that was, since I already built that client base, all I had to do is just let them know, hey, we offer screen print, but guess what? We can print your hat. We can embroider your hats now. We can do your polos now. So let's get it. So that was a good thing about that. And ever since then, it's been great. I mean, that machine basically pays itself every month. Good thing about Racoma is the month-to-month financing. It's like, it's a deal breaker. Why not? So
a lot. We've heard that so many times, you know.
Yeah, it's definitely
that learning curve though, Bob. Tell us about that learning curve on that.
I'm not even gonna lie. The learning curve is a pain in the ass, man. I'm not gonna say it's easy to learn embroidery, because man, I've been having rough days with this thing as well. I mean, there's definitely good days, but there's definitely rough days. I wouldn't say I've mastered it 100% yet. I don't think, there's no way, because there's a whole box of stuff right there that's all mess ups. I mess up things on a daily basis, but what I've learned throughout this journey is digitizing is key. I mean, if you don't have a digitized file correctly made, it's key. I mean, digitizing basically what the machine is going to embroider. So if your digitized file isn't right, or it's wanky, the embroidery machine is just going to embroider it wanky. So you just got to have a right design, and then the tension and like materials, what stabilizer to use. So it's definitely a lot of things in there. And then the biggest trouble I'm having right now is, I'd say, dad hats. You know how dad hats are unstructured?
Yeah.
So I've pretty much got it all down with dad hats, but when it comes to like super tiny designs with like a ton of colors, so I've been working on this 14, 15 color design. It's like 2 inches tall, and it's got like 15 colors. But with a dad hat, the issue with a dad hat is it's unstructured. So when you're embroidering on there, it starts to move throughout the embroidery. So the issue I have when it comes back, the registration on the colors is off. But I'm still trying to figure that out. You know, I'm still learning with it and just dialing it in. But I mean, no grind, no glory. You gotta keep grinding away at it. I'm gonna figure it out for sure. But other than that, it's been great. I mean, hats are easy, embroidery and everything. It's not plug and play, but you still got to like get it ready and set up for sure. But I'm enjoying it.
So is there no like a special type of hoop or anything for those dad hats? Or
There is. So it comes with like regular hoops. I mean, there's no specific dad hat hoop. The hat hoops are basically traditional. It just comes with it just comes with a regular hat hoop. There's like other versions of hat hoops you can get that are Gen 2. There's like a Gen 2 version where it's supposed to be more tighter. It's supposed to be more tighter, but those things get costly. I think it's like $300 for just one hoop. But I'm sure you can embroider with this hoop, but you just got to figure it out and like get the digitized file right and make sure it's tight on there, and just keep practicing away at it. But other than that, I mean, hats, I've got it all dialed in. It's just like a specific design. If I had it, I'd show you. But it's just getting that dialed in. You know, I like my small details and colors.
Yeah. 15 colors though, that seems a bit excessive. That has to be like something real detailed.
It is excessive. It is, especially for a dad hat. And when it's this small, it's excessive. But you know, I'm pushing this thing to the limits. Basically, I'm just trying to see how it goes. But for a flat, it works perfectly. But when it comes to dad hats, huh?
What about needle breaks? Have you had any of those?
I've had needle breaks. The only way I've had needle breaks is basically on a dad hat. When you get too close to the brim of the hat, it's gonna start breaking. So this one time I broke like 3 needles in like 2 minutes, and I was like, damn. But the only reason that happened was because it was too close to the brim. So you just got to make sure you have at least like one finger away from the brim of the hat.
Okay.
But other than that, I haven't had many needle breaks.
And then like with needle breaks, even with a sewing machine, those you expect that. Needle breaks and tension, getting your tension right is a hard thing, I bet, with that too, right?
Yeah, tension is definitely out there too. You just gotta make sure your tension's right. But yeah, I mean that's what the adjusters are for and everything. But it's pretty good. I mean, it all comes with, everything you jump into isn't gonna be plug and play. You still gotta figure it out and all.
Yeah.
And needle breaks it's a part of the game. You just gotta roll with it, make sure you're doing the right things. But once you get it dialed in, you're set.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow. You do a lot of YouTube, Instagram. I seen Facebook. I think you're on Facebook. Are you on Facebook?
Yeah, yeah.
So what is your marketing strategy as far as getting customers, new customers?
Content, man. People love content. My marketing strategy, I don't even have like a laid out plan or nothing, but it's just producing content. So
Mhm.
when it comes to what I'm working on, I make like a quick little video for whatever I'm working on. Like yesterday, I was doing a little four or five color screen print. I'll make a quick little video about that. It takes time out of my day to make that video, but I
Yeah,
know at the end of the day that that video might give me a customer. That video might give me a lead, or somebody might like that product that I was just printing that day, and they're like, "Oh, I want something like that." Or whenever I post that video, somebody might say, I see this guy's stuff all the time. Let me just work with him. So
yeah,
I try to
Mm-hmm.
produce content every day. YouTube, not every day. I can't, I can't do every day, but I try to get at least one or two videos out there on YouTube a week.
there you go.
Um, I need to get more, but on Instagram, I try to post daily for sure.
Mm,
I have to. It's hard. It's hard. Sometimes I'm like, this content thing gets tiring, especially when you're on like when you got to deal with like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Like it's just so much because you got to do it all separate. But like I got this saying, no grind, no glory. Like you just got to do it. You just got to do it. You just gotta boss up and do it.
yeah,
It's gonna pay
Yeah.
off. And I get a lot of my customers from Instagram. So
mm,
that's why I know like, okay, Pete, like this is gonna pay off. Just do it. And the way I look at it is like if you're not showing what you're doing, people won't know what you're doing. People won't know if you're reliable or not. Like if you're showing people that you're actually out there working, you're grinding away and you got customers and you're working, they're going to be more likely to work with you because they know the company's still alive. Whereas if you go ghost and only post like once a week or not even once a week, they're going to be like, is he still working? Is he still in business? Like I try to produce content as much as I can, especially it's 2022 nowadays. If you're not producing content, I mean, how else do you get yourself out there?
true.
Period.
King. Content is king.
What type of marketing do you do locally?
None. None, honestly, none. I
Just
don't
word of
do it's yeah, I haven't done any like paid ads or anything as of now. And that's what I appreciate that a lot, that I don't have to do that right now, but I'm definitely trying to get into that, but it's so hard, especially like I'm a one man shop. So when it comes to embroidery, screen print, heat press, producing content, making those YouTube videos, it's
Hmm.
all me. Like I'm doing editing, I'm doing everything from like, and then when it's screen prints, you got to wash those screens, and that's not like an easy task. I mean, it's easy, but like it's time consuming. It's very tedious stuff that you got to do. So
Yeah,
I'm doing everything. So paid ads is definitely something I'm trying to jump into, whether it's making quick Instagram videos and promoting it on there. I've tried it like once or twice, but it's not something I do on a regular basis. Locally, what I have up is my Google My Business page. I think if anybody has a business, they should definitely have that up there. So locally, if people search up screen printing near me, custom t-shirts near me, you want to show up on there. So I get like a few phone calls from there, but mainly it's all been word of mouth and Instagram. YouTube's definitely on there. And yeah.
Hmm.
yeah, for real. So with having, the Racoma and the screen printing system behind you to date, what is your biggest job?
To date, my biggest job, I say I say that my biggest job and my favorite job was I did 50 heavyweight hoodies, and that was like a full embroidery. So it was like a full, so the hoodies were black and it was a black on black embroidery. So the full chest was black. So it was black stitching on black hoodies, and it was like heavyweight hoodies. And that was about 50 hoodies, 50, 60 hoodies. And I think that was upwards of 50,000 stitches per design. But we trimmed it down because I was like, if you do this many stitches, it's gonna get costly. Like you don't want to run that. So we trimmed it down, but at the same time, it was still running about 25 minutes per, I say 20 to 30 minutes per hoodie. And that's where it comes to, if I didn't have a double head machine, that would have took me forever. And that's
Yeah.
why I got a double head machine, because I knew I'm already doing 50 pieces for screen prints and 50 to 100 pieces for screen printing. And I knew, at that time when I was like shopping for an embroidery machine, I was like, these customers are already placing the biggest, like the money, where the money's at is in bulk. So
Mhm.
let's say somebody comes to me for 50 hats, 100 hats, 50 hoodies. Me doing that on a single head machine would take a while to do.
Sure.
So that's why I was like, let me get at least a double head machine. At the time, I was gonna get a 4-head machine, but that thing would not come down here. I'm happy I didn't get that. Double head is perfect. Double head is like perfect because you're at least double the fast. So instead of one machine taking 10 minutes to do a hat with a single head, now I could do 2 hats in that 10 minutes, cutting my time down to 5 minutes a hat instead of 10 minutes per hat. So you're basically twice as fast. So that was a good thing about that. Now, if I was doing those 50 hoodies, 30 minutes each, that would have took forever. Now, in this case, since I got a double head, I'm doing 50 hoodies, 30 minutes each, but I'm doing 2 at the same time. So it's really 15 minutes each.
Wow.
Mm. So man, I think we're kind of we're skipping the best point about this, man, is your age, bro. Last time we was on this, I was on that. Like, you're 22, bro. 22, and your content is business. You ain't out here with the guns and the drinking and the smoke. The typical smoking a blunt, like they the only person in the world smoking a blunt. Like, how is it for you to be a 22-year-old businessman versus a 22-year-old 22-year-old? If that makes sense.
22-year-old child, for real.
Man, I'm just very, ever since I was a kid, ever since I was in school, I'm just really about my shit. I want to get my life together and not waste any more time. I'd rather just grind my things out early, get to the grind. Honestly, I've always wanted to start a business, and the sooner you start, the sooner the better, honestly. And one thing I live by is risk or regret. I don't want to, when it comes to regret, that could be a painful thing, honestly. Let's say I'm 50 years old and I never started this business, but when I turn 50 and I'm working that regular 9 to 5 job I got, that regret of me asking myself, what would have happened if I started that business back when I was 17? What would have happened if I started that YouTube channel back when I was 21, 22, or 20? What would have happened? I would have never known. What if it would have popped off? What if, like, that regret, it kills, So I didn't want to deal with that. So ever since then, like, I'd rather take the risk, fail miserably. At least I know I tried. At least I know I tried. So I've just been always serious about my stuff. I really just want to grind. Honestly, I'm not really into all that partying, and what is that really for? What are you celebrating?
Right.
Yeah, man. You definitely got a level head, and the way that you speak and your business cadence and the way that you attend to everything that it is that's important to you in life, it seems as though it structured you in a way to where a 22-year-old that's going to watch this, or a 19-year-old that's going to watch this, that may not have made up their mind, they have a person that they can say, hey, Bob's done it. If he can do it, I'm going to give it a try. And that just it means a lot, man. Because a lot of you're the first 22-year-old I can say honestly that I know for sure, without a shadow of a doubt, has been on his business, on his grind.
Oh,
And man, I gotta say
I,
shout out to you for that, bro. Because
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. You know, sometimes I don't even think it like that. Sometimes I think I'm behind, honestly. Most of the
no,
time I feel like I'm behind. But you know, that's just my mindset. I'm really just a go-getter. I really want to just go get my shit done. And I'm just after it. I really want to, you know, my biggest goal is to see this business succeed. You know, when you start a business, I'm sure you both can relate to this. When you start a business, that thing's like your baby. I mean, that thing's like your child. Like you want to take care of it. You want to do whatever is right. You know, I'm sure you guys feel the same way. When I'm out, or let's say I do go out somewhere, or I go on a nowadays. What I'm starting to realize when I go on vacation or something, or I'm out not working, only thing on my mind is work. I want to go back to the basement and get some shit done. I want to, you know, I'd rather be creating content right now than dicking around over here. I'd rather be doing shit, you know. I'm sure
yeah,
y'all can relate to the same thing. So I'm just sometimes I'm like, man, I'm too heavy on the grind, but like I enjoy it. So why not?
no glory, man. No grind, no glory.
No grind, no glory, man.
Do you have a girlfriend or anything?
I actually do have a girlfriend.
So how does that work? That life with the work life?
It's perfect. You know, I'm lucky to say I got a girlfriend that's very understanding. You know, she's been here since before I even started this business. I'd say a year before. So we've been together for
Oh, yeah.
about 5, 6 years now. But she's on her grind too. You know, she's working 10-hour days. She's in the medical field, so she's doing her medical things, but she's on her grind too. So she's very understanding on what I'm doing. She knows I'm on a mission to, you know, grow this shop. I got dreams that I'm trying to accomplish. So she's not like the let's hang out every day. Let's why aren't you texting me? What call me? No. Nah, I'm busy. Like we got things to do. We both got dreams to chase, you know. So I'm very lucky to have that. So we're very understanding on that.
Absolutely.
I think when I was at ISS, she was with me, Mike. That was her.
Yeah, I met her. I
Yeah.
met introduced me to her.
Yeah.
So Mike, what was your experience?
My experience with the Impressions Expo was mainly networking. Like I just told you guys, I had everything booked out as far as what I wanted to do, what I wanted to accomplish when I was attending the ISS show. I could say I like DTF and learning about it, but that completely took over the show. I would have
Oh
liked
yeah.
more screen printing things and more of the vinyl things, being that I am the vinyl person. I heavily get into that. So I seen the Econotransfers. I think that was like one or two, the only vinyl booths there. But
I found a vinyl booth there, man, and then I actually got to go.
Cobra, right?
Huh?
It was Cobra.
No, it was another one. It was just a little booth in the cut. I can't even think of the name. I'd have to look at some of the brochures, but they had some vinyl that was out of this world there, man. Like stuff that you don't see, like some different type of patterns and different stuff. I'll look for it because I just put them pamphlets all had there up here, but it was this little booth, like I don't know, I don't remember the name of it, but I had to hippie to it, man. They got some patterns that are amazing.
Mm.
Yeah, you know, when it comes to vinyl, you got all types of flavors you can get.
Yeah.
Sir, that's why I don't feel as restricted. I'm like, hey, I can hang with everybody because I already know I can do this.
Only thing is that weeding. Whew.
Not that bad. Look, y'all going wrong. If you got you some nice Econo, all right, shameless plug, go ahead and grab it because it weeds like butter. Trust me.
But what about like a small detailed design? What do you do about that?
Same. I mean, as long as your cut settings is there, the weeding is not going to be the issue.
Like the design on your hat.
Something like this where there's a bunch of intricate and moving parts.
Yeah.
So in the case of that, I will make several cuts of the same small part. And just in case when I'm weeding, because I'm very aggressive when I pull that
I've heard.
Yeah.
I've seen.
So if I pull that off and let's say I'm missing two of the teeth in this grizzly hat, I'm gonna take it from the other two that I've already cut. and I just simply place it in there. A lot of folks don't have the patience to do that. So they'll be like, nah, I just rather, go with screen printing, or I'd rather go with something that's not going to have me bleeding at the end of the day. But there's also like different methods for that too as well. Bigger influences that you had followed or maybe still following to this day?
Regarding like this industry, or does it?
Yeah, just the
regardless, just the industry. I say my biggest influence when I was first starting out, when I learned screen print, was Cam Irvin. I don't know if you guys have watched him. It's the Print Life.
Yep, I know.
I was watching his videos like all day, every day, trying to get my knowledge up on screen printing, because that's mainly what I was doing back then, was screen printing. So I was trying to learn screen printing. So he would always post, I think at the time he was doing like daily vlogs almost, and like just doing behind the scenes of the shop. So I'd look at his shop and be like, one day I'm gonna have that. One day, I'm getting my stuff up, working, watching his content, learning at the same time. And then I was just diving into other YouTube channels. I think Mikey Designs was out there. There wasn't too many screen print channels. There was T-shirt chick out there as well. But the main one I was watching religiously was Cam Print Life. Shout out to him. I learned a lot from him. And now basically my way of giving back now is starting this YouTube channel. And the other main reason I started this YouTube channel was screen printing is so tedious. So the reason I started this channel is because there's some things that people didn't show behind the scenes of what screen printing is. Like the troubleshooting, like the screen didn't work out. What do you do now? People only show the glorified things about screen printing. Oh, look at this. It went perfectly. Da da da. But no, I'm showing like the errors that happen. Like the main thing I show in my videos is a stretch test. So like if the shirt cracks, you don't want that to happen. So like sometimes in my videos, I do the stretch test. Sometimes it goes perfectly. Okay, cool. Sometimes it doesn't go perfectly and it cracks. But I don't cut the camera. I show them like, okay, this cracked. Let's figure this out. Let's let it sit longer in the conveyor dryer, or adjust the times on that and everything. And the other one is, this is not industry related, but Gary V, he's always out there hustling. He's producing content like no other. If I could produce content like that, God, I don't even know how he works, man. I don't know how he operates, but
Has to have an editor.
yeah, he's got a whole team for his content. One day I'll have that, but he's definitely an inspiration, because he's giving out all the gems out there when it comes to content. He religiously tells you to post 3 to 4 times a day on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guilty of it. I don't do it, but I need to. I just try to produce as much content out there. And the other thing is, man, the way I get my motivation and my information and my mindset, I'd say, is I'm tuning into motivational speeches all day, every day. I'm tuning into podcasts all day, every day. I'm tuning into whatever I'm interested in. Instead of, here's how I mainly get my mindset and my mindset right, is instead of watching TV or watching things that's not really going to help me in my life, but in reality, you're just watching this made up reality of people in this TV, but like what exactly is that bringing onto your life, instead of like looking into getting information? Like if you're interested in t-shirts or printing, why not listen to a podcast about t-shirts and print, like Squad Creatives podcast? If you're interested in screen printing, go look at Shirt Show podcast. If you're interested, there's just a bunch of life podcasts out there that you could listen to and everything. While you're printing shirts, I just tune into that, get my knowledge up, get my motivation up. They'll say things that, helps me in my business. I incorporate those things into the business and just try to go from there.
Yeah, man. So you're traditionally a screen printer. Let's talk about this heat press. What you do with that heat press back there?
Heat press, I do a little bit of vinyl. So when it comes to custom orders, I got a few right now. So people who want like 1 or 2 shirts, they want like just they want like a name in the front, they want a name in the back. And Supacolor is huge right now. These DTF prints, I've been doing full color prints. So when it comes to people wanting full color prints, sometimes I outsource it out to Supacolor and then just press it on. It's just better that way. You know, I got these right here. This is my No Grind No Glory. You know, these are full color. I don't know if it's gonna show, but these are full color prints.
We can
So I
see.
just got these right here. Whenever I want to put these on something, I do it. You know, I made like tracksuits with that and put that out there. So yeah, the heat press definitely gets put to work as well.
So screen printer using Supacolor, man. It seems to me that because you do screen printing, you wouldn't even look at Supacolor. But you hear this often, how important it is to a screen printer.
Yep.
What's the best and motivating piece of using Supacolor to you as a screen printer?
See, you can't cut it off because here's how I look at it. It's all Supacolor is basically a tool in the tool belt. You know, screen print, of course,
That's right.
screen print is something I try to do mainly, but when it comes to full color designs, like let's say you got something that's like they only want 20, 30 pieces, but or 10 pieces, you know, their minimum is 10 on Supacolor, but you just get those full color prints from Supacolor and press it on. You know, you tell the client, you know, your quantity isn't as big as it should be for a full color design like this. We'd love to screen print it for you, but you got to increase your quantity. But if you don't want to do that, we have an alternative route that's basically a digital print from Supacolor. You know, the quality is still there. You just heat press it on. It's a tool in the tool belt. I mean, I'm not going to cut it off. It's still going to bring in income. It's still, you know, it's another type of print method you can offer your customers. So why not? And there's a ton of things you can do with Supacolor because let's say you got those tracksuits I did, screen printing that, a full color design like this on some tracksuits, 100% polyester, that'd be pretty hard, you know. But when it comes to this, I just press this on for 15 seconds, it's done.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a win-win. It's just a tool in the tool belt, just like embroidery is a tool in the tool belt. You just got to have tools in your tool belt.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
What has been other than Supacolor, what else do you outsource anything else like into the shop?
No, that's mainly it. My main goal is to keep everything in house, especially when it comes to screen printing and embroidery. The only thing right now I outsource is Supacolor, but I'm trying to get into like the stalls patches and like those leather patches that they offer. So I'm gonna start getting those in here. But other than that, it's just those like premium quality stuff like full color transfers. I don't have a DTF printer, so it's just better to outsource it to them right now, and that's mainly the only thing I outsource right now.
What's your opinion on the DTF, and do you plan on getting into it?
That's it. See, at ISS, just like Mike said, you know, it was flooded with DTF. So I was looking there, you know, those printers look nice. You know, I almost pulled the trigger on one, but I was like, you know, I got enough on my plate trying to learn embroidery right now. I can't add another thing on him on my plate right now. And I don't have you know, DTF prints. I could, if I want DTF prints, I just order from Supacolor right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely see DTF prints in the future in house for sure. I think that would be a great addition because one thing I like to do is add custom neck tags to things, whether it's t-shirts, hoodies, and all.
Yeah.
Like this I got from Supacolor, but these are basically custom neck tags. So what I would like about DTF is if I could print full color neck tags like this and print it in house, that'd be amazing because now I could do full color neck tags, and neck tags. There's neck tags are perfect and beautiful when it's heat pressed because the details are crispy. I still screen print my one color neck tags, but when it comes to doing multicolors like this, it's crispy. You can't beat a DTF neck tag. It's crispy and the quality, you can't go wrong with it. So I would love to have DTF in house, but at the moment down here, I'm running out of space. I can't. But when I get a shop, I could for sure see it. At least a little DTF printer in here and mess around with that, especially with neck tags or just small things. Or let's say somebody wants, instead of getting a DTG printer, I think I'd rather get a DTF printer.
Why you say that?
I think here's why. I think I thought about this because I mean I don't know. I'm not certain on it, but in the back of my mind, I think I'd rather get a DTF printer before I even get a DTG printer because a DTG printer you got to have that bad boy running at least multiple times a week, or else that ink's gonna get clogged up. With a DTF printer, it's basically the same thing. You're just printing it on paper, on that transfer paper, and then pressing it on. But when it comes to DTG printer, you got to get the DTG printer, and then you got to get that pre-treat thing, and then
Yeah, man.
there's so many steps that go into DTG. The pre-treat is probably the most annoying part to me. I don't have it, but when I look at it, I'm like, that's so annoying that I gotta like stick
Yeah.
this in there, add glue, add whatever that pre-treat is, and then press it on there, and then heat press it again. Whereas a DTF, I could just print that paper and then just heat press it on. That's it. Whereas
Yeah.
DTG, you gotta pre-treat and then DTG it and then heat press it. And then with a DTF printer, it's a multi-use. I can use it as a DTG printer, just pressing it on, or I could do my custom neck tags, custom blah, 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 which you could do the same thing with a DTG printer too, because you could print DTF transfers with that. But cost-effective wise, DTF, I think I'm leaning towards that. But, that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I'm still getting my knowledge up on that.
So you had mentioned that you are running out of room down there in that shop. It looks full. And planning to get a store, or what's going on with that?
I am, man. I'm looking right now. Like, I need a store because I'm trying to get a new screen print press in here. I'm trying to upgrade that, and the only way that can happen is it's not coming down here. I need to get a shop, and that's the only way to grow. I need to like start hiring on an employee, delegating tasks because it's getting a lot to handle for me. Whether it's emails, just doing everything. You don't want to be a business worker. You want to be a business owner.
SQUAD. I'm gonna go ahead and recap us real quick. We got a 22-year-old on here, y'all, that started when he was 17. My hats is off to you for that alone. But not only did he just start a print shop, he went and elevated from the vinyl. He ain't doing one color with the vinyl. This man here doing 6-screen print pressing, Racoma embroidery. What's that 2-head behind you? And he's out servicing us, the nation, the world. Where are some places that we can find you, Bob?
You can find me on YouTube at Baav Productions, Instagram at Aesthetic Imprints. There's also the website, aestheticimprints.com. There's TikTok, Aesthetic Imprints, Facebook, Aesthetic Imprints. And my clothing brand, I'm trying to, I don't spend as much time as I should, but I'm definitely trying to spread the message, spread the word on No Grind, No Glory. So I'm trying to get that out there as well. That's the No Grind, No Glory lifestyle.com. You can find it there, or No Grind, No Glory lifestyle on Instagram. Definitely this year, I'm definitely going to be pushing that a lot. I've been testing the waters with this design. And yeah.
Is that Supacolor or is that Super Baav?
This is actually screen printed. Actually, this isn't super color.
Wow. Okay.
So this is actually the same design. This is just super color, but this, I love my screen print. I gotta do this in a screen print. So I just been testing the waters with this. This came out pretty well, but there's some little things that I want to tweak up, fix up. So I'm definitely gonna fix it up and work on that. But once this design is ready to go, we're gonna be hitting the internet with this.
Yeah, man, brother, appreciate you coming out. Appreciate rocking with us once again, man.
Of course.
We're gonna definitely need a tour when you move out. If you ever
Absolutely.
move out, that no rent is key.
Absolutely, but you gotta risk it to get it.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Gotta
man.
Faith and try something. Man,
I appreciate y'all for having me, man. I got to give y'all flowers too, man. I see y'all out here working every day on this podcast. Every week, I see it twice a week, man. I got to give y'all credit for that. That ain't no easy task. That ain't no easy task. Twice a week.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, props to you guys, and y'all stay consistent every week. Y'all don't even miss a beat. Come on, man. Props to you guys for giving out game, you know, sharing the gems, getting people on here. I see y'all got a lot of new guests on here and everything. How do y'all reach out to the guests? Do you just see who interests you and you just reach out to them and then make
Yeah.
some magic happen?
We give
Scout.
you a little free game off the record, you know what I'm saying, on how to get the guests.
Okay.
They might be taping, man. They might be taping, man.
Props to y'all, man. Props to y'all. Keep doing it.
Same to you, brother. Appreciate you.
You just keep doing what you're doing, man. At 22, I was partying and you know, I might have hit a liquor store too. I wasn't in no condition of being a businessman. So you set the tone for what 22 be aspiring to do. Honestly, you're the definition of inspiration and motivation, and continue to be great, man. Continue doing what you do.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that, man.
Till next time.
Yeah, this one's done.
Hopefully this year I'll have a shop and then we'll hop back on for an update.
For sure.